Hi everybody, I had a compliment on one of our videos, and a lady said, I hope you're going to make some more with just the four of you, and she's really enjoying those conversations. So I thought, oh yeah, that sounds great. And I was thinking today and the last 3 days about a conversation I had with Heather. How are you, Heather, and your son? And it inspired me to talk about this situation. And the situation is that life is a supernatural, miraculous experience. A lot of people don't think of life, being alive, as something like that. They don't see the supernatural, they don't understand it, they just see what the creation is and they partake of that how they feel. And you notice I've been putting up a few birds, you know, the story of all the birdies, Mark. I'm still fascinated with the birds, and my old story I always tell everybody about a bird. It's just, if you look at it with no feathers on, it's flesh. And then Yahusha has planned, when he created these birds, different pigmentations in the skin that are going to make feathers grow out. He's going to make feathers grow out to a certain length, and then it stops and changes colour or gets dots in it. And this is a feather in the skin of a bird. And we just look at the birds and we think, oh yeah, that's lovely, that's nice. But when we look at the creation, we think, what a miraculous, supernatural, marvellous thing it is that there's this bird from the flesh, and it's just covered in the most gorgeous colours and feathers and patterns. How you make all those feathers grow out to a certain length where the colour stops and starts again, and then gets dots, and then it gets lines. Some of the birds are amazing. And there is this thing that's actually alive, and it makes noises and it can fly. Now, man has never been able to, or could possibly, create something like that, which, if we look at it, it really is a supernatural experience. Something like that that's alive and flies. And as we know, flesh produces flesh. And so all these birds, and there's many types of birds, as you can see, are reproducing all the time. And then if you look at the things they do and their habits, that's even more miraculous, how they look after this world and the flights they take from one end of the earth to the other, and they keep doing it. It's just overwhelming and amazing to look at it. And that's only one species. Man, as I said, man's never been able to create any of these species. Actual fact that many of these species, different animals, are dying out because of man. So that's quite amazing when we look at life as a supernatural, miraculous experience. We can not only see that just in the animal folk, but his greatest creation is us. And what his plan is in amongst it all is phenomenal. How we can find him. He said, seek and you'll find. And he said, you've got to catch me. So it's amazing, really, when you look at it, that we can actually find the Creator in this experience of life that we're having. And he says his Spirit gives us life. We can only have life through his Spirit and by his word. Yeah? So when we look at that and we understand if we want his Spirit in us, of course we get immersed and to get his Spirit, but we have to be genuine. Like the birds and the animals, they're genuine in their existence. They're just there doing the same thing, following the same trails, flying the same distances. And we can actually find him in amidst all this and everything that man's done by getting immersed in the water in his name. We receive his Spirit, and then his Spirit comes into us. And as we read the scripture, we can find, what was it? As we read the scripture, he reveals things to us through his word that if you're not filled with his Spirit, you can read the word, but you can't understand it. You know? So, and the word is abstractly, how did you know? Abstractly discerned. She's on the ball. Mm-hmm. So the word is actually abstractly discerned. You can't understand this unless you seek out the doorway into his reign. Then he comes into you, which is again another miraculous supernatural experience. There's all these supernatural experiences that we can have as we read the word and start doing it. Our mind gets light. We see what he's saying and we can see the direction he wants us to go in. But if you're not in the Spirit, you can't claim that experience, which a lot of people are doing, claiming that they're being guided. It's a very involved situation, but you've got to have the immersion in the right name and receive his set-apart Spirit to have these miraculous experiences. And as you grow up in the world, I mean, everybody has a life. You only get one chance in this life to find him and do his bidding. Give your life over to him. Let him have your vessel and walk on the word to get the light, to find him. You can find him through the portal in your heart. So it's a really miraculous, supernatural experience that anybody can have that believes. But then he tells you the chosen people, he chooses them. He comes to them. He fills them with his Spirit. He leads them. He guides them. And it's a personal relationship with which, of course, religion does not agree with. They say you've got to be under some leader or rabbi or teacher and be guided by them because they are Yahuwah's representative on earth. And we've got all these different religions believing all these different things and not having a personal experience outside of religion. So a lot of people are in a quandary. But here we are in Australia. We've discovered this. Yahusha has led us to this, and we're sharing it with the world. We're seeking to find those that want a genuine, miraculous, supernatural experience. They can only have it if they take these steps we've talked about. So that's the basis of what we want to talk about, the supernatural experiences today. Now you guys can say anything you want to. You want to say anything now before we go on?
It's very exciting.
Why is it exciting, Mark?
Because there's no other thing to live for. The longer you live on this earth, like the natural flesh begets flesh lifestyle, some of us have begotten more flesh than others, and it doesn't change. The older you get, the less satisfying it is, if that's all you got. There's nothing to live for. You got to have a miraculous supernatural experience to even want to get up in the morning. Once you've tasted him, that is.
So, you knew most of this, didn't you? What I just shared?
I didn't know what you were going to talk about.
Yeah, but you know most of it, don't you?
Yeah.
Has it done anything for you guys, just that talk so far?
Just opened up how amazing the Creator is, how He has chosen us, and what He's taken, how He's created and His incredible excellence of creation. You're talking about the birds and the animals and everything in that animal world is working in sync. But human beings aren't in sync because they're not living the miraculous, supernatural, spiritual life that He designed for us. That was what I heard from it.
Great.
Well, we need this experience because otherwise we're just religious. We're just declaring we're into something, filling our heads with information and knowledge. But if there's no behavioural change, that's what I've been thinking about lately. I'm looking at Yahusha and his disciples, and I'm thinking I behave more like the disciples than I do Yahusha. The call is to be behaving. That's the only thing that stood out from him to everybody else. They couldn't catch him out. His behaviour was just exemplary, and he wanted nothing for himself, So that's what I'm looking at. All this knowledge and stuff I'm hungry for. There's got to be sometimes you just get shown Yahusha and you just think, oh, look at me, nothing like him, So what was all the information and knowledge for? Because he says he'll get you there, he'll finish the work, but I think he does it like that sometimes, to let you see, look, that's all good, but there's people all around you that don't know, don't want, can't see all this stuff, and you're it. You can see me, what are you going to do about it? They're not going to listen to the words you say. There's got to be something different about your behaviour. It's got to be, and you've got to be led supernaturally. Otherwise, you're just forming another liturgy that's dead.
Do you think you could see if somebody's not being led supernaturally?
Definitely. Because
go on.
Well, because I fall out of it at times, but I am being led supernaturally. Like we all are. How often you tap in and tap out is up to us. But so if I saw somebody who's declaring things, but we see it all day, every day. The whole world's connected through Facebook, so we see it all day. People not being led, but declaring stuff.
So you can tell the difference?
Yeah.
Do you think you could tell the difference?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
By their behaviour.
Their behaviour says it all.
Yeah.
Literally.
There needs to be a revolution.
Well, it started.
It has started.
I think.
Yeah.
Talking about Yahusha, what Heather actually talked about was in Revelation chapter 18, verse 23. She said that this guy put up an article and he's trying to use this scripture to say not to have the COVID injection.
Alright.
And she wanted to know what I thought about it.
Something about the mark, is it?
Yeah, but before we go any further, can you read that out, Victoria? We looked up...
The word miracle.
Oh yeah, I looked up supernatural in the Strongs and there was nothing there. So I thought the closest thing to it is a miracle. So this is what a miracle means in the Strongs.
Miracle, probably from in the sense of appearing a signal, literally or figuratively, as a flag, a beacon, monument, omen, prodigy, evidence, etc. A mark, miracle, a sign, a token. Morpus from in the sense of conspicuousness, a miracle by implication, a token or omen, miracle, sign, wonder, wondrous work, a marvelous thing, wonderful, wonderfully, from the root of wonder, a miracle.
So it said it's a marvelous thing, and what else just before that?
A miracle, wondrous work.
Wondrous work. Well, to me, that's supernatural experience. We know when Yahusha left this earth, he went up on a cloud and then he disappeared. And with today's understanding, we can see that he went into another dimension.
Okay. And
he's there now. And when he went in to the other dimension, he went to the throne room, and he gave these visions to John a few years after he died, and when he was on the Isle of Patmos, and he gave him all these visions about what actually happened when he went into heaven. So he went into, they call it Shemayim in the Hebrew, but the other dimension is Shemayim, we'll call it. And he sprinkled his blood all through that dimension and cleansed it, so that no evil can ever go in there again. And his light can shine there. And we know that when he does come through on the last day, the power of the light is going to frackle up this dimension. Just like if you throw a wooden, cardboard box on a fire, it just frackles up from the inside. And that's what one of the prophecies says, that men are going to burn from the inside out. So, anything evil that goes near that light will just frackle up. And we realise that he booted Satan and his demons, a third of the angels, were booted down to earth. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and we found out that Satan was shaking his head, and he didn't even realise that he was booted out until he was here. So, if you don't believe in demons, that's one of the big problems the world has. They don't believe in it. You were just saying Yahusha came into that woman's room and just said, out, get out, in that movie you saw, The Chosen.
Yeah.
So they just left and she was well. She was on a sick bed. So when we look at his power up there, nothing can, he's sealed up the door of Shemayim, because Jesus is going to open like a scroll when he comes through, but it's been seamed up. There's no evil in there at the moment. So the evil's down here on earth, and Satan's got millions of demons working for him, because it says there were millions created, so a third of them are down here. It's not just a small party. So our world, psychiatrists, doctors, everybody, governments don't accept the fact that there are demons. So they don't tell the people. And the people, children growing up, are subject to evil and wickedness from demon forces. If the parents don't know about Yahusha and know about getting the Spirit, these spirits can enter the children sometimes and stay in there. And there's only one way to get it out, that's get cleansed and read the word. So we see miracles happening that way through people that are genuine and go all the way. We see miracles happen to them, they get clean because of his spirit and his word, which is the light. It freckles up the evil when it comes into your portal or through your portal. So this world is living in total wickedness. Children, adults, everyone, without the spirit of Yahusha in them. They are controlled by demon forces. But Yahusha has the overall power and control. But he's allowing these things to happen until there's going to be his revolution. Very interesting. Any thoughts on that, guys?
That's amazing. It really is something that he has to do. No verbal, fleshly campaign, as many as there are, can wake up somebody to Yahusha. He has to personally choose them. You have to be chosen by him. And then go on that roller coaster.
Yeah.
And he leads you the whole time. You glean from all sorts of content and all sorts of things, but he's leading you through all of it. He is the teacher. We're not clued into all this demonology stuff. We're just
we're
bouncing off
actually
one another.
excluded from it.
We're bouncing off one another like it's each other and not seeing demons in our day.
Yeah.
Not facing it. Not facing them in your own head.
Oh yeah.
No,
They're constantly there.
because we don't do what the scripture says. Gotta rest your thoughts. Gotta see it for what it is. Yahusha did. He wasn't sucked in. He knew. So, amazing. Another word could be spiritual. That's close to supernatural. If something's
It's a
supernatural.
religious word though.
Yeah, that'd be too much.
Supernatural sort of what it actually is. You know, going from the birds and the animals to his favourite creation, which is us.
Yeah. There'd be too much content under spiritual.
When you look at it, you've only got this and the spirit, and you hear his name delivers us, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we get immersed in his name, we're his property. We should know if we're going in the water, he owns us. We're his property. And he wants to make us into something that he wants. And that is, of course, it's an army to fight the evil. And you fight it through your favourite word, behaviour.
Yeah.
He wants certain behaviours, but you can't do his behaviour unless you have his spirit. And you have to be called out, hear the call, and go for it.
Yeah.
When you look at the madness that's going on, I mean, when you open your eyes and you see how wicked the world really is, what's really going on, and people are not, as you said, aware of demons in their life.
No.
So they've got an open slather if you're not aware of it, haven't they? They can just use you however, and you're left with your behaviour, and that's what they want to do to us.
Yeah.
They want us to blow our stack or do things that are wrong and make us look like hypocrites, so, and lie about us and everything. So you just got to fight it and win. And the only way you can do it is through this experience, this supernatural, miraculous experience. And you'll see people that come against you, but they just fall by the side. It's amazing watching Yahusha work for the ones that he loves. Incredible, just incredible stuff, you know. So anyway, getting back to this experience with Heather, that's right. Hi Heather, we love you. So 18:23 says, and the light of a lamp shall not shine in you any more at all, and the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray. So who is Yahusha talking to? He's telling John to give us this. So who is John talking to here? Remember, it was 2,000 years ago, or a little bit less. You know, that this came through, this word came through. And it's Yahusha's message when he went up into Shemayim, and he's telling everybody, all the believers, what happened when he went up there and what is to come.
Well, he's saying any more, which means if the light of the lamp's not shining in you anymore and the voice of the bridegroom's not in you anymore, it means it once was. And now it's not. Why? Because of your drug sorcery, and you've led all the nations astray. So some group of people that once had his light, once had his voice, and don't anymore.
Oh, if you read before it, it says one mighty messenger picked up a stone. So I'd say they're talking about
Babel.
the Satan, basically.
The great city of Babel shall be thrown down and shall not be found anymore at all.
So she asked me,
What's that got to do
what
with
city is this?
Well, so far it's Babel that we're talking about, but that's
Babel is basically the whole of the earth.
That's right. Babylon is
Now,
the Babylon mystery system controls the whole world.
Right, so
That is the world.
which Babel are we talking about here? Nebuchadnezzar or Nimrod?
I think whenever Babel is spoken about, it refers to Nimrod, because Nimrod was the first.
Yeah.
All the others just came from him. Every religion really was formalised at Babel and went from there. Prior to that, it was just in seed form.
Well, they were all speaking one language, and they were all worshipping different idols together, all in one. And they also had Yahusha in there, who mixed it all. Right, so the word came from Noah and his grandson or great-grandson, Nimrod. He went against all the teaching. And in that city called Babylon, there, Babel, where they built the tower, that's where it all came from. Now, if we look at Daniel's vision of the idol standing there with the head of the gold and the silver and the bronze and the iron and the iron and the clay mixed. How many nations came from Babylon, and what order were they in?
Oh, I can't remember. I'm too rusty on that. I haven't got there.
You've just done all that.
No, the legs and the.
Well, there was the head.
There was Babylon. There was Assyria. There was Rome was the last one. There's
Greece.
Greece.
Philistines.
No, this is big.
So if we look at the world, where does Egypt come into that?
Egypt was one of them. Yeah, one of the first ones.
So Babylon's the head of gold.
Yeah.
They say that's Nebuchadnezzar, right?
And Rome's the feet that have been breaking.
Yeah. So we have Babylon, Egypt would be the next one, wouldn't it? The next big kingdom, and Assyria.
Yeah.
They would be about together. Medo-Persia.
Medo-Persia, that was the one.
Greece.
And Rome.
Rome.
That's it.
And
They're
Rome.
a mixture.
The mixture is Rome reinvented itself
Yeah.
as a priesthood.
Yeah.
So they call that the anti-Messiah Rome. That's the false bride. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there's one still to come, 7. Where do the Jews stand in that place?
Well, they're included in the last two. If you look at the prophecy of the beasts, first beast with a Catholicism type one, and the second one will be the restoration of the temple and the whole Jewish thing, trying to bring the voice of.
What do you think the Jews are trying to bring in?
They're trying to bring back their status by knocking the Pope out and saying, look, we've got the fire, we've got the tabernacle, we've the temple, we've got the sacrifices, and we've got, look, the fire. So we've got his voice, we've got the ark, whether it's there or not, that we've got the fire, we've got the connection with the Creator, we are El Supremo.
So in verse 23,
Just talking about them, you reckon?
it says, and the voice of bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. So where was the bridegroom's voice last heard?
In the Jewish movement, in the Hebrews, came through them.
So it's not going to be there anymore.
Can't be talking about Rome because Yahusha was never in speaking through them, but he was speaking through the Hebrews.
Well, you can see Babylon teaching has been handed down. They've been through in all the world movements, and they are in today in governments.
Yep.
But the Jews are doing something else. They're claiming the position that Rome claimed to be the Christianity, the false Messiah, the
voice of the
false
Creator
bride.
of the earth.
Yeah. But it's not going to be heard in Jerusalem anymore.
No.
And never will be.
Wow. It's interesting.
Because this is prophecy too.
Yeah.
When we look, they're prophecies that John got from Yahusha and 𝗪𝗪 when he was up there. He sent these visions down to John so we could find out what was going on. And this, obviously, I mean, who controls Hollywood?
The Jews.
Yeah.
Who controls banking and merchants?
That's it.
Who controls the drug trafficking?
They got their finger in every pot.
How many amazing discoveries are coming out of Israel through drugs? Banking, they control. They're the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
They're the only country in the Middle East that has nuclear power.
Yeah. That's true.
It's what I talked with Heather about. I found, and I looked at that when I saw the bridegroom and the bride won't be speaking out of.
Hurting you anymore.
Yeah.
It has to be those people because they're the only people he ever spoke through. There are a couple of Gentiles here and there, but he was moving through them. That wasn't until really after he died that he really went into the the world. His spirit was available to everybody. It was always.
Is it when you look at the miraculous supernatural experience of life through Yahusha, is that happening in their societies?
No,
No way.
it's just a religious farce.
Yeah, there's a thing on television this morning about stampede in a Jewish festival and people got killed.
Yeah, 40 something.
Yeah, they said it's the worst thing in history of Israel over there. That's in the last sort of years, I think, not before. So I think something's happening, and I think it's all kept hush, hush and secret.
Yeah.
I mean, they're calling in all people from all nations, and they're extending the housing into the West Banks, and they don't like all that, and the Palestinians are getting squashed, and there's all sorts of things going on, all sorts of powers with the Jews and governments all over the world.
Yeah.
They control all the diamonds, Victoria said.
I often wonder why, when I look at even just the hits that you'll get on a video, I just think if the work is out, planted in the world, if the work is planted out in the world like seeds, why doesn't Yahusha bring it to people? Because he can do anything. Once something's sitting on the internet somewhere, anybody can fumble across it. Why doesn't he make it more available? And when you're talking like this, I think, yeah, sure, we're protected by Yahusha, but if we were on a global scale with millions of people watching these videos, there'd be a hitman on our door.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It's dangerous.
you'd be dead. And so I think you said it a long time ago. We're all hidden.
Well, you've got to look at what the disciples all went through, the persecution and stuff that they went through.
Yeah, they all got knocked off.
So they're all killed. So what
Exactly.
happened after that to the church, to the assemblies movement? What happened?
Pretty much died.
Petered out
for a while.
underground. Yeah.
It went underground. There's always been a remnant,
Yeah.
hasn't there?
Yeah. Always been a remnant. Yeah.
So why do you think Yahusha isn't making what we're bringing through a global experience for everybody?
Well, that first point I just mentioned, but also because he can protect us if he wanted to. It's more, I think he knows everybody's hearts. And the world is in such a dark place that we've said plenty of times, many people are just born to die, born to live. Flesh begets flesh. They're just born to exist.
Yeah.
They're not chosen, they're not interested, wouldn't even know how to be interested because this is so bizarre. So I think of it that way too. If we really are being inspired in truth, which I believe we are, it's never going to be a big fight. And it was never about popularity or money for us because we don't make any and get any. So it wasn't anything about that. I was just curious. You have those thoughts sometimes. Why don't you let people see this stuff? Because they don't want it. They're not interested. And those who are not ready to see it yet. And we've often seen people who are maybe 10 years behind us, like they just come across our stuff and go, oh, this is the best, this is exactly what I've been through, this, that, 5, 10 years after us. And I think, yeah, this is right. Keep ploughing on, because we've always wondered for the last 15 years, why can't people see what we're seeing? And then we find out about 5, maybe 10 years later, it's happening to them, what's happened to us. So he kind of is using us as a forerunner, I guess, and maybe we can handle it better than others. I don't know why, but we can hold it together.
Can you Google the scripture, they were created, some were created in the last days for the day of destruction. Some were created for the days of destruction.
Romans 9:22.
Yeah.
9:22. That's Romans. And if Elohim desired to show wrath and to make his power known, with much patience tolerated the vessels of wrath prepared for destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his esteem on vessels of compassion, which he had prepared beforehand for esteem. So he's making...
Romans 9:22, is it?
Yeah. Elohim desired to show wrath and to make his power known, with much patience tolerate. This is the old Messiah. Read it in your one.
It's the same.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Romans 9:22. And if Yahuwah, desiring to show wrath and to make his power known, with much patience tolerated the vessels of wrath prepared for destruction.
He tolerates the vessels prepared for destruction. The world is just full of vessels that are...
So that's answering your question, why doesn't he show everyone? And it says that he might make known the riches of his esteem on vessels of compassion.
So the difference between vessels of compassion and vessels that are just created for destruction, which he had prepared beforehand for us.
What do you think about created for destruction?
Oh, it's sad.
There are vessels created for destruction, brothers and sisters. What do you think of that?
Yeah, over 7 billion of them.
It's pretty out there, isn't it? When you think about it. But that's what people were created for.
Well, he did it the first time. I mean, it's been just over 2,000 years since Yahusha walked the earth, but it was only 1,500 years or nearly 2,000 years when Noah was here, and he just destroyed a whole lot of them. That's a whole population. Probably not as many as today, but
So what do you think about it?
8 people made it.
It's terrifying when you think about it.
Yeah, only 8 people made it.
Not into numbers, he's into genuine.
I think we're lucky to be chosen.
Hell yeah.
How many people we know that are going to
Frackle up.
just be born to basically die again, know nothing.
So most people that are in religion, if they see this, they just declare us wrong and mad.
Yeah.
And yet it's a supernatural, miraculous experience that we're experiencing. So the things that we say, they'd say, oh, they're just a bunch of fundamentals. We've got no idea.
Yeah, that's very base, uneducated. They'll get there.
Well, it says it's foolishness to man. What Yahusha has given us.
Yeah.
We'd be very foolish to them.
So were all the men in Scripture. How foolish was Moses when he rocked up to the Pharaoh declaring authority?
Well, they got rid of all the apostles, and then the rest scattered, got out of Jerusalem, didn't they? Got away from it all.
Yeah.
And they've gone to the 4 corners of the earth. You can't be born of the flesh into this, like Israel is saying.
No.
You cannot be born of the flesh into, because the Jews say, if you are not born of the tribes, then you're not a Jew, and you're not a chosen person.
Yeah.
That's literally their teaching.
Yeah.
I've just done a huge big spiel about this.
Have you?
It's spot on.
On what?
About the
Ruth?
Yeah, it's in Ruth, but it's about this thing, exact same thing.
Yeah, well, I
Because
said
Paul-
what you were saying.
Yeah, because Paul's talking about the olive tree. Boaz is pulling out sheaves, just like Paul says, some are cut off that we might be grafted in. There's only so many branches you can fit on a tree. He cuts some off to fit others in. And how do you fit them in? You got to slice them and graft them on to the tree. It's just still the same tree though. It's really interesting. But it's all about. It's exactly everything you're saying. It's amazing.
So what do you think about there are people born for destruction when you think of amount of people? How many people do you think are born for destruction? How can you tell by their what?
Behaviour.
Totally. Why would I go out there and try and convert them? I mean, Yahusha knows that all of our hearts. We'd go to the end of the earth for somebody who's genuine. But why would we go out there and try and convert the world like everybody's trying to tell us to do?
Well, that's religion.
Because that's what Yahusha apparently did. Very different back then. Very different. No technology. You can send a message now and get to 1,000 people. You know, like, it's a very different thing now.
I don't see anyone sending out and get 2,000 men. That'd be nice. I've never seen that happen, have you?
I mean, they might read it, they might accept it. That's what I meant. You can reach that many people. You don't actually have to grab your walking stick and go on a journey. Yeah.
But how many do you think
There
are
are
born
throngs.
to be destroyed?
Throngs and
All of them.
throngs. Look at the massive population in countries and
Well, as you said before, look at Noah. There's only 8 that came out.
Anyone not immersed?
Well, people get
Not even,
immersed and they're
not
dying.
even then. Not even then.
that's-
Even those that are immersed, who are basically set in their ways and you know, on the religious path.
Yeah.
They're not called really.
Well, half the bride's going to be dead.
That's
Going to be killed.
So if there's 10,000 bride, only 5,000 will make it. I'm just giving a number. I don't know how many.
Numbers. She loves numbers. That's wonderful. Yeah.
So you look
That's
at it
true.
that way, and who knows?
So we're going to see this, if we're still on Earth alive, happen, because, I mean, when you look at how depraved children are
Yeah.
today,
Mm.
you know?
and what they're fed. You know how that what's available, what's been fed, how they're indoctrinated, just swamped along with the masses.
One thing that was interesting, we watched Hamish, what's his name? What is it? Q&I or not?
Yeah,
Q&I?
yeah.
No,
Q&A.
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 Yeah, that's right, Hamish. And
Long guy.
he had a young chap on there. They were talking about the Prime Minister being a Pentecostal. And this young chap said, I think we have to go to the next question, and this is where it finished. They didn't go there, but the country has to go to the question, how is, what's his name? Scott Morrison. How is his morals have to be questioned on how he sees morality and how it affects his political judgments. So here we have people that are outside the Christian movement questioning the morals of Christians, why, how it's going to affect the country from his decisions, what his morals are behind it. So the morals of the Prime Minister, who is a Pentecostal Christian, and he's got millions behind him, how they're questioning his morals. on what his purpose is to be in government.
Because they know that he's probably got scriptural beliefs and they don't like that. Because that would fly in the face of many things that have just become legal.
Right.
So,
And all his decisions, they said, should be questioned.
so it shows why we're hidden amongst all this. Big time. So that we can grow unpestered,
So how scrutinised will our morals be? I mean, we're no threat to their power.
It says we're going to be judged first.
Yahusha's moving quietly on the outskirts of things and taking the ones he wants and bringing them in to his behaviour. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great, Heather. Thanks for that. You've brought us to this place and we've shared it with everybody. Anybody else like to say something?
I just,
How long's that been?
It's been
Almost an hour.
almost an hour.
That's enough, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to say something?
no, I think that's great what you've said.
So the point you're making is it has to be a supernatural, miraculous experience.
Well, it is.
It is.
If we look at the life we're living in the spirit, we're experiencing that. If you're looking at life in the flesh, you can't experience that.
No.
You have to be immersed into this experience. The Jews say you can't be the chosen unless you're born into their race.
This is a whole different reign.
That's it.
Amazing.
And there's other religions with other doctrines. And it's all from Babylon. Original from Nimrod's Babylon. That's where all the opposition started and the worshipping of idols. And all that from Nimrod has gone right through every generation up to today.
Yeah.
Only those that seek him out will find him.
Yeah. That's it.
So in the midst of all that madness, we need to be genuine about what we're doing and our choices and walking on the word to see the light to take us in to that place with him.
Yeah.
It's a battle we're fighting, and the battle is behaviour. Once you get your behaviour right, well, I'm sure then he can use us more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not be discouraged or by everything around us.
Well, what's a temptation, Mark?
A querulous
Trial.
It's a trial or a test. If a temptation comes to us and we listen and we start acting it, that's behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, if a trial comes, we overcome it. Well, isn't he going to trust us more, give us more favour to continue that behaviour, to stay in that behaviour, to encourage others
Yeah.
to achieve, run the race?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's very exciting.
Hence the 3 rules. Put you on the path.
Keep you there.
Fast track you.
Yeah.
What about those guys from Indonesia? Did you see them?
Yeah, and it's the Philippines.
Philippines, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had gone that far there.
No. They want
I saw
hard
a thing on
copy.
my post yesterday about that.
You should contact them and tell them the other things you've got going and find out what they've actually looked at and tell them what's actually available.
Yeah.
Because I just realised you've got friends of Behaviour Revolution too, haven't you?
Yeah.
How many sites have you got?
That one's not mine anymore. I think Thad or somebody took over that one.
Who?
Thad. Remember Thad?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the guy doing that one now.
Oh, so he's getting people.
I'm not a moderator on that page anymore.
Oh, he's just getting people in to be friends of Behaviour Revolution.
I think so. Something like that.
Oh, you should look up that and see what's happening.
I'm too busy putting content out to actually chat with a lot of them. I'm neglecting them.
Yeah, well, that's all right.
Yeah, colouring in all. Remember the things the kids used to colour in?
They want stuff to
It's on
download.
Facebook, as if you haven't seen it.
They've
saw
got
it
the
just
3
before.
rules in the order.
Yeah,
Got the 3 rules in the order you put them in.
Oh, that must be an old one then.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, the order you put it into.
That's it. I had them in the wrong order for years.
So it would be nice if you got in touch with them and spoke to them.
Yeah, well,
Things are happening. You don't know what's going to happen from all
Yeah.
that.
no. Wow. Amazing, isn't it?
Send them stuff or whatever.
Children's colouring books. Add that to the list of things.
Well,
I need a
I
team.
just-
Stuff they
I need a team.
I ain't got time for that.
You don't have to have it printed, just stuff they can
I
download.
need a team of
why do you need a team when you
designers.
look at what we've just talked about? You don't have to be out there doing all that, do you?
No, no.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You've already got it all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you made more,
Copy and paste.
someone's got
Yeah,
to design
but
it.
I mean, is it that serious?
Talk to people.
This Christian mindset to preach to the world?
No, not at all. No, he
They
does
want
it.
someone to design stuff. Get it.
He does it. All of it.
I think people will be interested in the scriptures,
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Mm.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, how long is it since Israel's had the voice of the bridegroom in Jerusalem?
2,000 years.
And way before then, the ark, King David, it was already gone. Judges, it was gone. About the time of Moses and Joshua, they were the last two.
Yeah, but Yahusha came.
Yahusha was
Yahusha
the
had it.
bridegroom.
That's
had the
right. He
bridegroom.
was the bridegroom.
Yeah, he had it. He was it.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So it's never happened since.
No.
Because it's a different reign, as you said.
Mm. Different priesthood,
Yeah.
different everything, different dimension.
Yeah. So what's it show you about what they're doing in the world? Calling all these people into Israel, coming to live there from all different nations.
Building a false, a whole false congregation
That's right.
to mimic what Yahusha's already set in place.
That's right. That's the false bride. So what are they planning for the world?
Some form of trickery and idolatry.
I mean, they've already embraced all the festivals and things that go on. They've got the gay 𝗪𝗔𝗪𝗚 over there. It's the biggest and best in the world at the moment in Tel Aviv. So they're still doing idolatry, the teaching from Babylon. It's all there. It's all happening. All the worship of different idols, different deities. You see all the different types of Jews there are.
All the scriptural feasts have just become part of their secular.
Well, they've added to them
Yeah.
and subtracted. So what's their plan, do you think? What's going to happen?
I think they want to
They-
set themselves up as the best nation, as the voice
That's
of the
right.
crowd.
Well, what about the anti-Messiah when he comes?
Mm.
There's going to be a man that's going to be on the throne
Mm.
for a little while.
Don't know. Some believe he's already been and gone.
Oh, there's
Constantine
all sorts of...
already changed everything.
Yeah, but that's Christian.
That's
This is at the end of the time now.
Mm.
You know, we're nearly 2,000 years after.
Yeah, there's going to be some nephilated person that's going to get possessed by Satan.
Be something, won't it?
What are you saying?
That's what they go on about.
That's what they all say. There's going to be a man appear with power and can do miracles and all that sort of stuff. But that's just towards the end.
They're breeding bodies underground, trying to find the perfect shell.
They're saying all sorts of things, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they can't do what Yahusha did in a simple bird.
No. Let's bring it back to that.
Well,
That's so beautiful. It's just so cute in
those
a
little
bird.
birdies.
We'll start the video with birds and we'll end it with birds.
Yeah.
It's good.
We're already in production. We haven't finished talking.
He's happy. It's all the birds.
Birds. Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, that's it. Wonderful. That's very exciting, mate.
I think something's being planned when you think of the wealth of the Jews.
Yeah.
I think something's coming in. It's all hidden. There's a little plan. Everyone knows they want to rebuild the temple. But apparently the Dome of the Rock isn't where the temple was.
No.
It's further down in another place. So who knows what's going on there, what they're going to do there. But not to be confused, it'll be revealed as the time goes on.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are thinking like this,
No.
you know, because the Gnatrim are very caught up with the Jews and they call them the Big Brother doctrine and that we should respect the Jews. But going through the history you've been bringing through.
Oh, it'd be like telling everyone to respect the Muslims or the Catholics. It's just as wacky, really.
Yeah.
They've held on to a handful of principles from the beginning, but they've added so much stuff that those principles no longer mean anything.
Well, the voice of the bridegroom is not going to be heard 2,000 years ago and never has been and never will. Voice of the bridegroom is in his people, isn't it?
No one wants to talk about the fact that he divorced them. We just brush that under the rug.
You can't.
What does that mean?
Well, they don't even know the history of it,
No.
you know. They haven't gone into the detail like you are.
No.
But if they go through the scriptures you're doing, they'll just find out so much about it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Birds.
Lovely to be with you, brothers and sisters. We're thinking of you. Hope you enjoyed this. Yahuwah bless you.